What's going on, pro wrestling fans? My name is Jose Ramos Jr. Welcome back to my channel. And with NXT Deadline just around the corner and airing this upcoming Saturday, let's go ahead and jump right into my predictions for each match that's currently scheduled. But before we jump into the predictions, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with all the pro wrestling content that we produce here on YouTube. And of course, with that being said, let's begin with the Women's Iron Survivor matchup. Certainly a matchup that I'm very excited to see because of the highly touted women's division that NXT presents. It's a matchup that will see the likes of Stephanie Vaquer, Zarya, Giulia, Sol Ruca, as well as Ren Sinclair, all vying to become the new #1 contender for Roxanne Perez's NXT Women's Championship. It is the most exciting 25 minutes in professional wrestling for a reason, and I look at it as an opportunity to highlight the new talents such as Giulia, Stephanie, and Zarya, while also giving individuals like Sol Ruca and Ren Sinclair some well-deserved time in a main matchup scenario. Now I look at it from a process of elimination type of concept. I love Sol Ruca and I would love to see her have a championship opportunity against the likes of Roxanne Perez, and the same with Ren Sinclair, who had just barely made the cut this past week on NXT. But it really comes down to three names: Zarya, Stephanie, and Giulia. The WWE has paid a lot of money and had a lot of well-deserved media attention for their signings of these three women. I can't see in a world where we have these three in a matchup and they are not, well, at least one of the winners earning an opportunity for a championship match against Roxanne Perez. Now, initially, when I was going into this prediction video, my mind was set on Giulia. I think Giulia is going to be the one to defeat Roxanne Perez and finally end the near year-long title run that she has endured. But given that she's already had a title matchup here on NXT and already suffered a loss to Roxanne Perez, I could see them going a different route and giving the opportunity to someone else. Now, in recent months, we have seen the increase of presentation in terms of Stephanie Vaquer, and I will say that is who I'm going to be rocking with for this prediction in terms of this matchup. I think Stephanie gets the matchup. I think it's obviously going to be the tale of the three. Zarya, Giulia, and Stephanie are the front runners, but look for Stephanie Vaquer to have a late run in the matchup that will secure her the victory and provide her a shot at Roxanne Perez's title. Now, speaking of championship opportunities, let's talk about the NXT Tag Team titles, where we'll see Axiom and Nathan Frazer defend their titles against Tavian Heights and Miles Bourne, two members of the No Quarter Catch crew. A matchup that I didn't even think that I would be looking forward to. But when we had the Battle Royal, I myself found myself rooting for Miles Bourne and Tavian Heights. I thought it was something fresh and something new, giving them the opportunity to put on their talents on display, and certainly for someone like Tavian, who had went over to Japan and had an opportunity to expand his horizons as well as the independent scene and really put on a focus on his talent. It's something refreshing, it's something new. And now, given that we've seen the drama within Fraxium, I kind of think we're in line for new tag team champions. They've been hinting at it for a while. We know that Frazer's going to be in the Iron Survivor matchup later in the night. I think this is when we finally break up the team and have a new set of tag team champions. I'm actually going to go with the underdogs here and pick the No Quarter Catch crew to win the matchup, thus winning the tag titles, bringing more gold to the group, along with Charlie Dempsey, who is the NXT Heritage Cup winner. Next up, we have NXT Underground competing between Lola Vice and Jaida Parker, two of NXT's women's division's up-and-coming stars, and basically two women that are in line for a push. Whoever were to win this matchup, I think, is in line for more championship opportunities. I think you can bet that whoever wins this matchup could very well get a championship opportunity for the North American title. We saw their recent matchup, the hardcore matchup, at ECW Arena for that special episode of NXT, where Jaida Parker would get the victory using a brick and smashing it against Lola Vice. Well, this is why I think we're going to go with Lola Vice this time. I think it's all about that 50-50 booking. They're not going to want to present Jaida Parker as this overwhelming force over Lola Vice. I think Lola Vice gets the victory here. and I think she's in line for the championship opportunity that I did mention, and I look forward to the matchup here. It's basically Lola's match, so to see how she comes out against a larger opponent and a skilled opponent like Jaida Parker should certainly be an entertaining matchup. And speaking of entertaining matchups, we do have the men's Iron Survivor matchup. It's going to have guys like Wes Lee. We also have Javon Evans. We have Ethan Page, the aforementioned Nathan Fraser, and it was scheduled to be Eddie Thorpe. But apparently on NXT TV, he was attacked and more likely than not will not be able to compete in the matchup. Now, with the 5 names that I had just listed off, I was of the mindset that maybe a guy like Wes Lee was going to get a championship opportunity, finally breaking through the mid-card and heading into the main event scene and challenging who more likely would be Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. But based on that attack, I think whoever was the one that attacked Eddie Thorpe, more likely than not, will actually take his spot in the matchup. And with that being said, we have not seen Obafemi in quite some time since he lost the North American title. I'm predicting that Obafemi is the individual who had attacked Eddie Thorpe, will take his place in the matchup, and will actually win the matchup, earning himself a championship opportunity against who I think Trick Williams will win the matchup. And with that being said, we'll segue quickly here into the main event, the NXT Championship. I already alluded to it. Trick Williams, I think, will defeat Ridge Holland. Nothing against Ridge Holland, but I certainly think it's a matchup that will only elevate Ridge Holland in terms of his heel run here on NXT. It was only a matter of time because of his feud with Chase U that he was going to have this title opportunity. Now we're just paying it off for that heel run. I do think Trick Williams wins the matchup, gearing up for the showdown with Obafemi, which should be a huge matchup, a big fight feel to have someone like Obafemi and Trick Williams in a matchup for the NXT title. That's a matchup I certainly would pay to see. But I want to hear from you guys in terms of your predictions for NXT Deadline. Who are you picking to win each respective Iron Survivor matchup? And if you agree with my selections, go ahead and like the video, comment down below your comments, your questions, or your concerns, and make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, or the live streams where we talk about the post-show reactions in regards to Raw, SmackDown, and the occasional premium live event. Of course, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. Thank you for joining me on this quick NXT Deadline prediction video, and I hope everyone enjoys their day and enjoys the wrestling week. We'll see you then.